thank you for jumping in on Hallie's Creations. I hope you enjoy this next share. And without any further ado, let's do this. Don't forget to subscribe and notify, or you won't miss out on any more videos.
So let's do this. What you're going to do first is wet the back of your wedding invitation or whatever you want to put on the bottle and get that extra thick paper off. Glue will loosen up and it will roll off. You just get it wet and just gently rub on it. What you're going to be tempted to do, and don't go there, is keep on rubbing it off and you'll rub a hole into it. So just only go so far, then stop, and you'll be ready to put that onto your bottle. So once I get this to where I want it, I'll take a paintbrush or anything like that and just gently brush all those loose pieces in there for it's nice and smooth. For when I do go put it on the bottle, I don't have little pivots. And then I'll just continue to rub some of that off until I get it the thickness that I'm happy with. And just take your time with it. It's kind of therapeutic. So just no hurry and just take your time. Put it on a flat surface when you do it as well. As I always teach you, clean your glass before you put anything on it. And I laid this invitation on the bottle to dry. I'm not putting it on the bottle yet. I'm just letting it dry on there. Yeah, so we're going to do that, walk away from it for a little bit, then we're going to come back and work on the bottle. So I'm just gently brushing that onto the bottle just for, as I said, for it will dry. So now that it's dried, see how it's curved? It'll make it easier to apply that to the bottle. I like to wipe my glass down with alcohol, so I just do a quick spritz and then wipe it down for it's nice and clean. And notice how I have those gold stars on the bottle. So I chose to use the twine to match that, to bring that out and use that as part of my decoration. So we're going to do that. And you'll also notice on this bottle that it hasn't been opened yet because this is a gift. So I left everything intact and now I'm just wrapping the cord around the neck, and I'll leave that loosely on the top for we can pop that off and use it. So I take a pin and I just secure it, take my time with it, wrap it around, get it nice and snug and tight. And then we are going to glue that down with the ModPodge. So we're just going to wrap, 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 wrap. And while we're wrapping, I want to remind you, don't forget to follow me on Facebook. And you can also, when you follow me, I will send you an invite to Hallie's Creations special group that I have for artists that like to share their creative ideals and processes as well. So once you follow me and I see you're there, then I can send you an invite for Hallie's Creations special little group that I have. So just wrap that around, take your time with it, don't be in a hurry. You're going to pin that top piece down, let it glue down, and then from there you're going to Mod Podge that again. What made this particular piece very special to me is you'll notice this wedding invitation. This is my granddaughter's wedding invitation, and it was I didn't really have a big notice that they were getting married, but I was just thinking, gosh, I want to do something kind of different and special. So I took their wedding invitation and put it on this bottle. Yeah. So you can do that for birthdays, weddings, any type of an event that you have an invitation for, and make it special. And it's a neat little gift. I just set this on their wedding table and it matched perfectly with their decorations, and there you go. So now we're going to apply the Mod Podge right over the twine. Nice, thick, and heavy. You want that to hold because that's going to, you know, be there forever. So you want to make sure it gets into the pores and everything. Remember what I've shared in the past on my different bottle shares is When you're using the Mod Podge, it does dry clear, so you don't have to worry about, you know, all that, how it looks white right now. That doesn't matter because that will dry clear. And it's also the perfect seal, so when you have that sitting out in the years to come and the dust accumulates and all that, this is going to stand the test of time. You can dust it, you can wipe it down, and it's fine. We're actually going to seal the entire bottle. It's going to give it that frosty effect, and it will also preserve that wedding invitation. So, where you can pick up your Mod Podge is any hobby store. Amazon sells it. I think Walmart sells it too. And I buy most of my supplies because I teach at Michael's. Although since COVID hit, there's been no classes, so that's been kind of sad. But that's okay because it gives me more time to do these video shares for you. So it's all good. It all works out. But you can pick this up at any hobby store. And just use you can use the matted or the satin. The satin is going to give it more of a frosty, glossy type glow, as to where the matted will just be more smooth, flat finish. The reason I use the brush on the twine is for those bristles can get in there and really make that twine stick. Once you do this, you're going to walk away and let it dry. I usually let it dry overnight, and then I'll come back and work on it some more. Okay, now that we're finishing this up, we're going to go to the next step here, and I will talk you through that as well. Also, remember, I do have a playlist. I have a YouTube channel, so if you want to see more bottle art shares or just different shares of things that I have done, videos I have done, you're welcome to check out my YouTube channel. It's the same name as my Facebook page and my Instagram page and my TikTok page. They're all my name. Hallie's Creations, and they're real easy to find. Check out the playlist, and that way you can go straight to what you're interested in, and you can just watch all the different videos I have. So right now, getting back to the project that we're working on, see this, how that sponge is round and I'm dabbing it? That's what gives it that really cool frosty effect. So you just want to dab, 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 dab your bottle. Don't worry about that pin. That's going to get pulled out once it dries, and you're going to dab your entire bottle. So while we're dabbing that, I want to remind you also that I do have an Amazon profile page where you can go in and see the different supplies I have. I have created a list. So for like my bottle art list, there's, you know, supplies that I get through Amazon on that. I have my painting list and my craft list and all the different projects that I have, and that is a personal profile. It's not a content creator's profile or anything. I just created a personal profile. I made the list up for you, so there's no affiliated links or anything to it. That's just straight, you know, you see something you like, you know what I'm using, and it makes it easier for you to get your supplies as well. Down the line, I will have affiliated links, but I'm only 2 years into doing this, and for me, I don't want to spin my wheels trying to get all that stuff going versus getting the video library up and running for you. So that's more important to me, is content for you. So you can check that out and be able to do that. So notice too here how I'm just dabbing it all over the entire bottle, because you want to give that frosty effect. So dab, dab, dab. Don't brush it, don't stroke it, dab it. If you brush and stroke it, you're going to have streaks instead of that frosty effect. You'll also notice too that I'm not dabbing over the Stella Rossi part where it's the actual product, because that's where I'm going to lay the wedding invitation over. And that's going to be glued down, so you're not going to see that. So I don't need to Mod Podge that part because it will be when I put the wedding invitation on there. Also notice too in the back there, that little white tray that I have, that's my water that I use when I use Mod Podge. And I always use a plastic bag to cover my Mod Podge lids, for my lid doesn't get glued to the Mod Podge and then it's really hard to open. So now we're just going to take a brush and we're just going to brush that area where we are going to lay the wedding invitation. Or as I said, if you're doing a birthday gift or whatever it may be, where you're just going to brush that on, because you want it nice and smooth when you lay that down. You want it to stick well. And then I put my brush back into water while I'm working on this. Just kind of center it how I want it and give it some love in there and hold it down for a sec and smooth it out. Remember, this is going to be a little fragile because you have thinned out the back. So now you're just going to smooth that on. And right now what I'm doing is I'm using just a little bit of water in that sponge. Notice how I dabbed it out, just to revitalize and bring that back to life for it to be more pliable. So just gently, gently, gently do this, because you don't want to tear your wedding invitation or whatever you're putting on there. And it's okay to stroke that on because you're going to dab it. Remember what I share too when I've done these other bottle arts, if you've watched other videos of mine, they don't have to be perfect when you first start it, because you're going to be working this and getting it how you want it. So don't be afraid to get your fingers a little sticky and wet. See how it's getting a little gobbledygook there? That's okay, because that's going to smooth out and clean up once I get the label on there, the wedding invitation how I want it. Oh, and I have to share this with you because it was a learning curve. Once you do this, don't put it in the refrigerator, because the refrigerator will reactivate the Mod Podge. I learned that the hard way. So yeah, once you do this Merlot, you don't have to refrigerate anyway. But if you're going to do a wine or something like that that needs to be chilled down, do it just before you give it as a gift, and let the person know that you're giving it to, not to just put it in the refrigerator and forget about it. Maybe an hour or two is fine for it to chill down, but you don't want to reactivate that Mod Podge. Plus for me too, I also made this on the fly, and I know once it sits and it cures for a while, a few days, that's better. So if you can make this up ahead of time, that's even better. Just the little things we learn along the way. I mean, it dried up fine once I took it out and I put it back in the heat. It was totally fine, but it was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that, because it made it look foggy and, again, cloudy. So, and then when it dried, it was clear again. So Mod Podge does look cloudy until it dries. So don't freak out if it's cloudy, because it will dry clear. So you're just simply going to work those edges, get them down to your satisfaction, and then you'll decorate the bottle again. But again, like I said, if you are in a position where you can set this to the side once you get this the way you like it for overnight or even for a few hours, and then come back and work on it some more, that's best. But see how nice that turned out? Nice and clear. And you'll see too, the finished product, even that top piece where it's a little fuzzy there, little cloudy, that dries clear as well. See how it's even more clear here? So these cork lights, they are on my supply list on my Amazon profile page. They're great. You can get different styles too. You can get them where they're on all the time, or they blink, or you can get intermittent blinks. You can get colored corks. They're fantastic. So those are on, I get those through Amazon, and then I have this cute little tag that a friend of mine makes, these tags, and I put my business card in there as well. with the lights in a little packet. And that little packet for the lights I just get at the Dollar Tree in the wedding craft area. And it holds the corks perfect. They look cute. Just tie that on. It's a nice little touch. And I chose this particular tag because it had a little frame in it. And I'm going to put the couple's picture in that frame. And the picture that I have that I'm putting into it is when he graduated from boot camp. So my granddaughter had gone out there and they had a really cute little picture of him in his uniform and her giving him a big hug, and I thought that was just perfect. For those of you that aren't really big into the fancy bows, just tie a regular bow like you're tying your shoe. Just do the flat knot on top and you're done. Super, super easy peasy. So we're just going to tie this bow on here. Like I said, I used that gold because on the bottle of wine the stars are gold, so it made it all tie together. So you do kind of want to make your colors coordinate, and you'll see that on the other bottles that I've done on my different playlist. And there you go. Bam! So cute. We're going to decorate it with some embellishments. We're going to put some flowers on here. And what I'm doing is I'm using the flowers that are similar to the ones that she used in her wedding. Now, if you have access to the actual flowers that they're using for their wedding and the fake flowers, definitely go for that. But I didn't have access for that because they're in Washington and I'm here in Arizona, so I just improvised and went by the wedding invitation. Using my little stylus there that I pick up at the Dollar Tree to keep from burning my fingers. And just glue those on. Super easy peasy. Just adds that little extra touch. Hold it for a few seconds while that hot glue dries. And that's pretty much it. So this is, again, like I said, a great gift idea for weddings, birthday gift ideal, just for fun, if you just want to make one for fun. But there you go. Done. So until next time, I want to say thank you for hanging out with me, because of all the places you could hang out, you chose to hang out with me. Have a good day and a better tomorrow, as my dad always said. May the Lord bless you and keep you, from Papa Chuck. And to my grandkids, I just love you guys. Peace out. And until next time, thank you for hanging out at Hallie's Creations.